Hi, I'm Gray, and welcome back to my channel. Over here, we talk about life, having fun, and trying new things. So I still do not have a name for this series or podcast or whatever this is, but I wanted to be consistent posting here. So I always say, start without feeling ready, because you will get ready along the journey. Just be consistent and keep going. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm starting anyway. And I had a whole series on my short form platform about that, about how to start anyway. So you can go check it out if you want to see it. So today for episode 2, I wanted to talk about identity. And it's so funny that I don't even have a name for what this is that I'm doing right now, but I wanted to share with you my thoughts in hopes that it helps you on your journey. With identity, I felt that it is important to talk about because on any journey, you have to start with who you are and who you want to become and emulating that person that you are trying to become. So if you have a goal of becoming a marathoner, you need to act like a marathoner. You need to think that you are a marathoner so that you can become that marathoner. However, I wanted to focus more on the view we have of oneself, which I felt that self-concept aligned a little bit better with the topic. So this is right on time because this year we are getting everything that we want. And in order to do that, you have to believe that you are that person who gets everything that you want. So let's get into the topic. So Merriam-Webster defines self-concept as the mental image one has of oneself. The perception of who you are influences your self-esteem and your confidence. The image that you have of yourself is a collection of beliefs that you put together based off of your race, your education, your environment, your career, religious beliefs, and also where you're born, language, personality, and etc. There's some things about you, like your personality, that are withstanding throughout the years. It is going to be really hard to change those things because that's just innately who you are. But for a lot of things, we can change to form the identity that we want. So let's talk about how your self-concept kind of develops. So it develops throughout your lifespan. So let's start when you're younger and your more formative years. It changes as you go through different stages of development. So your childhood kind of lays the foundation. Your home life shapes a lot of this. And so your parents control your home life. So your parents play a huge part in the foundation of who you are. Think about it. When you're born and you're really young, you're around your parents most of the time. And when you're not with your parents or caregiver, then you're at school. So the external factor of school also plays a huge part in laying the foundation of your self-concept. So within the school environment, you have your peers, your teachers, and the relationships you have with them that also play a part. As you get older, you shift more from focusing on your parents and your teachers to more of the relationships you have with your peers. And your parents and your teachers and the adults in your life as you're younger, they are in control. But as you get older, in most cases, more in control of your choices and your life decisions. So I talk about, trying new things, having new experiences, and that comes from when you're a child. Because as kids, they learn as they get older. And so they have to learn everything about the world. And they have to learn how to do everything. Like they have to learn how to talk, walk, use the bathroom by themselves. You learn how to speak your native language. You learn how to write, learn math, learn about the sciences, learn about all the things that is going on in the world and around you. You have to literally learn everything. And those experiences help shape how you view yourself. For example, as you're going through school and you're learning that I'm really not good at math and I don't like math, that is learning what you don't like and learning an area of growth. I don't like using the word weakness because it feels like something's wrong with you versus the area of growth, because we all can learn something. We may not be the best at it, but we can learn it. Weakness feels like you can't learn, and I don't like that. So you learn that you're not a math person. You're probably not going to be a mathematician. And so that's how you view yourself. It's forming the image that you have of yourself. And I feel like in this phase is really important about the messaging that you're receiving, because those messaging starts to get ingrained here. They can get ingrained as you get older as well. But when you're younger, it's harder to decipher where you got the messaging from and how to change it. So let's get into why self-concept is important and why we're even talking about this today. My hope is that you take something insightful from these videos and you use it in your life to get the life that you want. And ultimately, I want you to be happy in your life. Self-concept plays a huge role in how successful you are, not only reaching the life you want, but also how happy you are in life. And this is why it's important. Self-concept affects how you view yourself in a positive, negative, or neutral light. If you have a more positive view of yourself, you're more likely to be pleasant, content, and secure. If you have a positive view of yourself, you're more likely to be successful. So for example, if your self-concept is very positive, then you will have more confidence in your capabilities. You will have higher self-esteem. If you feel like you can do what you're setting out to do, well, you're gonna have more success because the mental piece is half the battle and now you have to do. The perfect example that I can think about is myself. I wanted to be a YouTuber since I discovered YouTube, and that was probably at the age of 15. And I did not think I can do it. Not only did I not have the confidence, I didn't think that I had the skill set to make videos, to talk in videos, and to put them on YouTube. And I also didn't think that people would want to watch me. My introduction to YouTube was in the natural hair care space, and the OG YouTubers in that space, they helped me learn how to take care of my hair because I went natural shortly after that. And the first place I looked at in order to take care of my hair was YouTube. My self-concept, the way that I viewed myself was that I did not have the skill set to be a YouTuber. I was not somebody that people wanted to watch. Nobody could learn from me. I also did not think that I could handle the negativity that come from putting yourself out in such a public way. Those were the things that stopped me from being a YouTuber for many years, despite really wanting to do so. And so the way that I viewed myself was not somebody that people cared to watch, that people were interested in, and that people can learn from. And that not only stopped me from being in YouTube, but that stopped me from a lot of other really great opportunities later in life, because there's nothing that people can learn from me. Like, who am I? I did not view myself as somebody that could be a mentor for a long time, even though I could have been. I also didn't really believe that I could do a lot of things just because I wasn't good at it or I didn't know how to do it. That also led me to not pursuing certain things because I didn't feel like I could learn it. And you see how dangerous that can be, because you may want to do things in life and that's actually the life you want to live, but you stop yourself based off of how you view yourself. And so instead of that I could believe that I could do something, I would look at how many people were doing said thing. If enough people were doing the thing, and then I was like, okay, I probably can do it. I also think that's kind of faulty thinking. It leaves your capabilities in the hands of other people. And being influenced externally than being more influenced internally is not the best way to go if you want to be really successful, in my opinion, because that leaves everybody else in control of your success instead of yourself. Granted, it's not wrong to say, well, if 100 people are doing this thing, then most likely I should be able to do that thing. But I actually don't know if I can do the thing unless I try to do the thing. And maybe it just happens to be there's only 10 people who've done that thing just because there's not a lot of available knowledge around that thing. And so a lot of people are just not going after it because it's not widely known. But doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means that there's some circumstances that it hasn't allowed a lot of people to want to do it. Or maybe a lot of people just don't want to do that thing. Who knows? But that's a limiting belief. And having limited beliefs in your self-concept is not good. Image that we have of ourselves also contributes to our personality. You know how they say, oh, being anxious is now my whole personality. Well, if you don't actually want to live your life as an anxious person, then it shouldn't be your personality. You should not let those attributes make up who you are. Talking all about self-concept, which determines how you view yourself, and I've talked about viewing yourself in a negative, positive, or a neutral way. It is also how you accept yourself and how you perceive your worth as a person. Part of accepting yourself is accepting your self-image. And that is, the physical way that you look and how you present yourself, and presenting yourself in a confident way so that you can be more successful. So confidence is all about being secure in your abilities and being able to overcome the new challenges that you face. Self-determination is all about motivation from within. That is being in charge of your life and being able to influence the outcome of how your life is. Now, I know that we all don't have the full reign over our life. There's a lot of factors that contribute to how your life turns out. And, you can walk outside one day and something happens that completely changed the trajectory of your life. I understand that piece. But as much as we can control, self-determination is about taking as much of those reins as we can and making the decisions over our lives. We all are the expert of our own life. Decisions that we make, the actions that we take are our own, and we should be free to do so. And sometimes letting people practice self-determination is not about risk aversion. We can see that somebody else's life is risky, but who are we to stop that person from doing that unless it's going to cause severe harm to themselves or somebody else? But who are we to stop them from engaging in a risky situation, all because we know better? Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does. So as somebody looking in from the outside, there's a balance to approaching things and allowing people to be self-determined. Motivation is the energy that you have to meet new challenges. And then we have responsibility, right? Which is basically accepting the consequences for all of your actions. Now, this could be good, it could be bad, it could be ugly. But accepting those consequences really helps you to grow and to learn from your mistakes. So all of these concepts kind of play a role into your self-concept because, one, we have to be self-determined enough to know where we're going and take charge in that. We also have to be confident that our efforts is going to reach. Confidence comes into play where knowing that, one, not only do you have the ability to do something, but you have the ability to learn something new. Take responsibility for all the actions that you take. It makes things a lot easier in life. Accepting yourself wholly is so important on a personal growth journey, especially if you're trying to do something new. You can go so much further if you're not running away from things. If you confront things head on and move past it, I think it's just gonna take you to the moon. And your self-image kind of plays into the role with your confidence, right? So if you dress and act in a very confident manner, things change for you.